This is Insight coming to you from the Messick's Performance Studios right here at iHeartMedia. Real serious, sad, awful thing we're going to talk about today. But when technology first swept into our lives, it was supposed to make life easier for all of us and bring us together. But just like a couple of other innovations that have become a normal part of our lives, certain internet sites and social media platforms have developed into places where people are exposed to horrible things like the sales of illegal drugs and weapons to child pornography and even hiring of contract killers. These particular sites can be found on what is known as the dark web and are especially dangerous to those who may be mentally or emotionally vulnerable. The gutlessness of the dark web, how it took the life of the people who are with us today, their precious daughter just a couple of weeks ago, and why they want you to hear their story is why Jackie and Chip Bieber are here today. Guys, what we were talking before the taping of this program, and when you lose somebody, it's bad, but my God, what do you say to somebody who loses their child, their baby, and to such sick individuals? Mr. and Mrs. Bieber, I'm sure you don't mind if I call you Jackie and Chip, you lost Shatto, she's your daughter, on May 22nd. I don't know where you get the strength to talk about, honest to God, you're amazing. I'd like to ask Jackie, you found your little girl. Would you mind going through that again?
Yes. I had, we have been working on some depression issues with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like this, maybe 6 months or so, she seemed to be getting better.
Mm-hmm.
She had even mentioned moving out onto her own because she had always been with us. She had, she seemed to be getting better, and I would say the last 2 months that was when things started changing a little bit.
How so?
She kind of almost seemed like she was distancing herself more from us.
She removed herself, yeah.
And just was in her room more, and when I would go in to talk to her, she would be in her bed on her phone a lot. And I didn't really know, I thought maybe she's just, on Facebook or something,
Sure.
just, on May 22nd, I had, I actually worked from home that day, and I saw her around 11-ish a.m., sometime between 11 and 12, because I know she had gone out to check the mail, and she came back in and just said, there wasn't really anything good in the mail, we just kind of had some small talk. I did not notice anything like her being emotional, sad, angry. Like, I didn't notice anything that would have raised a flag. I had kind of sent her a text because I said, hey, I was in my room working, and I sent her a text. I said, hey, just kidding, like, you didn't get the dishes done yet, and I didn't hear anything. And then I decided to go in because I hadn't heard from her for a few hours, and knocked on the door, no answer. I opened the door, and the first thing I noticed was her bed. There were the sheets and the bedding was all off, and I looked on the floor, and I saw her, and I thought, maybe, oh my God, maybe she hit her head, maybe she got dizzy and fell down. And I looked at her, and she was blue. Her hands were, she was just blue. And I knelt down to her, and she was cold.
Oh, God, love her.
And I tried CPR, I called 911, and I talked to them the whole time, and I just tried to bring her back, and I knew she was gone. I looked in her face, and I knew she was gone.
Was your husband home at the time?
No.
Were you in the house by yourself?
Me.
The kids, you have other children, they were probably at school?
They were at school, and their father was picking them up.
I was actually on my way home from work at the time.
He was on his way home. So the police came in. A nurse that lived down the street walked in and immediately walked out, so I knew. They had the coroner come, and they sectioned off her room like a crime scene. They wouldn't let us go in. they asked me what I thought may have happened, and I said, I have no idea. I don't know. They said they checked for pills. They accounted all of her pills and everything. So it wasn't like she overdosed on any pills or anything. They couldn't tell because I didn't see like any vomit or anything. I had no idea. And I later, after they took her, we went up to her room. Well, my husband did, and I guess my brother and my mom, and they found a cup with a spoon in it and a mixture and a substance. And we at first thought, was it something that was left behind by the coroner? Were they testing something? And also some other items, and her phone. And we called the police. They came back and they took everything. Said, no, we didn't leave this. This was here. I'm not sure how it was missed, but
Yeah, I think it took some time before we actually looked at our phone. We found the other stuff, and then it just registered, let's start looking at the phone.
yeah.
And
And then the browser history.
And we opened up the browser, and it was on that website. It was on the thread, her final thread, and then we just, we read through it in shock. And,
Do you have any idea how long she had been conversing with the people on this website?
April 11th, it looked
Yeah,
like she became a member.
She became a member in April. At the time, she'd only posted 11 times, I believe. 3 of them were in the last thread, so she wasn't doing a lot of posting. I don't know if she had interaction with individuals through private messages, but as far as posting, she didn't do a lot of posting. Obviously, there's a lot of reading material, so she spent a lot of time on the website, I'm sure.
Because when you go on this site, it's so dark, it just kind of like sucks you in. It makes you feel that there is no other way. The messages that my daughter put on here was, I just took this, and when you go on this site, it is visible to anyone at all. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to log in. It's all very easy to access. It's all there. There's a menu. You click on the menu. It shows you what's your choice to die. Pick. You select it.
For God's sake, it's so sick.
And it'll give you all of the ingredients that you need, the directions on how to take them, where to buy them. If you decide to hang yourself, it tells you the best way to do it. It shows you pictures. There's also videos on all of these ways to kill yourself. Out of the 8,000 members, at least, that are on this website, the moderator confirmed that at least 60 were children
Under the age of 18.
age of 18.
But there
But-
are other people that go on. Didn't you tell me that even vets go on there?
Yes.
There are veterans
Yeah, they're
that
veterans.
feel that there's no hope for them, and they are encouraged to die. They aren't given hope or any other way to get help. It's just death. That is the only answer. That is the way that they feel. That
There's just many threads that it spews hatred.
Yes.
They discuss their hatred for everyone, their hatred for the system, for
Mhm.
mental illness system, that they're given no help and no hope, and this.
But that's not true.
I know. I mean, and even people that are members on there say at the beginning, I was on this for like 24/7 on this site, which really wasn't smart for me. I'm sad that this site also changed your attitude towards suicide, because that is not the idea of this website. I wish you well. So some people are seeing that they are, just making it worse for them.
Wasn't it your sister that contacted them after Sean passed away?
We,
Or did they get
we
ahold of
actually
it?
don't know who
No,
went
I
on the
don't
website.
know.
Oh, okay.
They had intimate knowledge of some stuff, so it could possibly be a friend of ours that
Yeah.
did go on the website. They were just, they were ran off the website and banned
Yeah.
from the website quickly.
Yeah, the posts that my daughter had put on before she lost her life, like she posted at certain times, like I just took this, now I gotta wait 40 minutes for this. I'm also going to take this soon. And everyone says, good luck with everything. May your travel be peaceful and successful. And she mentioned on here, I also feel bad because my mom is just down the hall from me. And instead of someone saying to her, go get your mom, go get her and talk to her, they say, for some reason, I'm not 100% that this will work because your mother is down the hall. If she hears noises coming from your room, she will come in and will call an ambulance if you're in a bad way. I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just saying. And she said, I just took it. I'm effing terrified. And their responses were, hope it goes smoothly. Good luck to you. And they gave her thumbs up emojis.
How did the website find out? You're not sure who, but I mean, did they contact you after they found out, or how did you start conversing with them?
They like, when people pass, they like to remove them from the site.
Okay.
They scrub it. They don't want anyone to know about this.
They ban your user
Yep.
tag from the website, so you can't log back in. But we had gotten to the phone quick enough that everything was still on the screen,
Oh, thank God.
so we were able to see everything.
So you were able to take photographs of this and
Yes.
give them to the police?
Absolutely.
Yes. Someone even had mentioned on that site, they asked if my daughter's death hurt because they want to know for future members.
That was
That
the
want to go
response when the
that way.
when the person went on to say, yes, she did pass away, and she has a family that loves her and misses her, and this is terrible what happened. Their response was, well, at least we know that method works.
Oh
Yeah.
my God,
That
that's
was
unbelievable.
that
Yeah.
was one response, and then another response was, like Jackie just said, that was well, we just need to know for our own benefit.
Yeah.
Was it painless?
Yeah.
Did she go fast?
You know.
That's what they wanted to know.
They, because we were upset, because we are going to the news, they are like furious. They post horrible things about us, and then they mock us. They say that it's so effing hilarious, hilariously absurd that we are being monitored for potential criminal prosecution for discussing what we want to do with our own bodies.
That takes it way too far.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah. I
prey
mean,
on vulnerable people.
They're preying on our vulnerable, our weak, our lonely,
They've mentioned
depressed.
many times that it's Jackie's fault that she.
This is my
that she
fault
was dead.
that she
honey,
died.
I know you don't believe
I
that.
mean,
And-
we
and
tried
that you-
to help.
I don't think they can comprehend the lengths
And
that
we
we've
were
gone
working
through
on it, I mean.
and the care and support that we've been providing Sean through all of this. And
No one believes that except those sickos. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. You can tell, my God, you have 4 or 5 kids, and when I first met them, I thought to myself, my God, they're kids themselves, and they're so sweet and generous and supportive of each other, and you can tell they're so, I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
How you feel.
they portray us as pro-suffering, that we just want to keep people alive for our own greed, that we don't care that they're suffering.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, they say, I know you pro-lifers in society are not opposed to killing yourself. They are opposed to you doing it peacefully and painlessly.
How many members, do you have any idea how many members on that site?
I believe there was a post that I did see. I believe it was 8,008 members, of
Yeah.
which 60 were admitted to be, they registered under the age of 18.
But you can
However,
put any age in.
there's
It
no-
really, there's no way to even prove it. You can put whatever
When you
want
sign
in
up,
there.
you can put anything on
Yeah.
there, but you don't even need to register to see everything.
Yeah,
Um,
and then how they say we're pro-choice, and then people have said this isn't really pro-choice though, because one time I made a thread saying that people should at least try to fix their mental health problems before killing themselves, and I got a warning for it, and the thread was deleted.
It's so obvious. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
There was no disclaimers.
That was my next
The
question.
the
No.
disclaimer, after we brought attention to this,
Mhm.
I don't know if they seek counsel on this,
Yeah,
or
they-
thought that maybe it was a good idea, so they in the interim, they put a ban on 18, and they made a restriction for the 18. However, when many members opposed that, they removed that restriction.
Mhm.
because they feel like any age should go onto this website. In fact, right before we came into here, I was following the thread. It was a discussion about the under 18, and one of the posts was the owners had no choice because they had become the target of a pro-suffering crusade from a nut job in Pennsylvania and her minions. That was a response to one of the members. Basically, another attack on us.
Yeah, any compassion from any of the members for us. They get banned. Someone said, I hope she's enjoying the peace that she always wanted. Reading the news article made me really sad. All I could think about is how my suicide will affect my own mother, and I don't want my suicide destroying my family's lives. She was banned. People were telling her she's not enjoying anything, she's dead.
What people don't realize, first of all, mental illness used to have a stigma. Some people still see it that way, but mental illness is definitely the top issue we need to deal with in this country, and it's like diabetes or heart disease or hernia. It's a disease, and there are so many resources out there to help people. And when someone is in a position where they don't want to live anymore, they feel hopeless, nothing you can say to them will keep them from doing something, and it's hard for especially, I believe, parents to believe that, but it's true. But it's so, when you're at that point of vulnerability and they glamorize your pain going away, you hang on to something like that. We certainly know the impact that different forms of media have on people, and that's one of the rules. Hit people, that's maybe a poor choice of words, but effective advertising is about how it impacts you emotionally. My God, that's all she was. There were parts of her that felt like, I'm sure, my mom's right down the hall, and she loved her mom, but she was in pain, and they took advantage of that and glamorized it and walked her through it. Exactly.
She was totally invaluable to them, and she was my world. She was my baby.
And that's what people don't realize. She was your baby. It can happen to anybody. That's why it's so of all the programs I've done, and especially over the last couple of weeks with the wonderful mothers, one of whom is here with us today too, who's gone through some really bad things that we wanted to let you know about. But this, oh my God, and how we protect them. And from the time they're babies until they could be 100 years old, that's still your baby. And it's been so difficult sometimes, but I gotta tell you, this is. I was real nervous about this interview because I thought, oh, God bless them. What do you say? You don't know what to say to people who go through that. And for no damn reason. That's what burns me up. There is no reason except it's a sickness. This website, I don't know if you want to reveal the website. There are other ones like it there that you can find online as being part of the, explain to our listeners, if you will, what the dark web is. I thought you couldn't access it through Google or any of the other search engines. What is it?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if you would really consider this on the dark web. I feel this is, you can find this on Google.
Very easy to find.
This is very easy to find. The dark web is actually a little more involved to access. This here, this is just a website. You can find it in Google.
Is it regulated? I mean, who regulates this?
I believe nobody is regulating this.
Well,
this website's been up for over a year, and no action has been taken.
Well, I consider this, as I'm sure you would, this goes beyond assisted suicide, and it's illegal in this country. So what do you guys want to come out of this, other than the fact that God love you, you're here a couple days after you buried your daughter to tell other people about this horrible thing out there?
I just want to raise awareness to parents. I had no idea that this was out here, and I've had parents that I don't even know reach out to me and say, I have a child this age, teenager, suffering with depression and anxiety, some institutionalized, and they said, I decided to talk to them about this. And most of them have told me their kids already were aware of this. And that's really scary to know. that these kids all know about this and we as parents do not. If we had, I mean, obviously we would have put some kind of restrictions on our access, even online, to prevent, things like this being brought up. Because now I have younger children that I have to worry about.
Yeah, they had some access to tablets
Yeah.
and stuff that this stuff, you can find stuff on YouTube.
I mean, even these videos
So
they have.
So you can't, it's not, the internet and children's access can be a dangerous thing. Parents have to monitor, they have to be diligent. Most people have routers in their homes now with internet. They should be diligent to make sure that they block certain sites, use the built-in protections. Make sure that when your children sign up on websites that you make sure that it's correctly signed up as underage, so the restrictions are in place. iPads, Android, they all have ways of signing up your child to give them access to the internet, but to limit what they can see. Because if you open things up and you click or search for the wrong thing, there's a lot that they can be exposed to, which can be very detrimental.
Well, you know what? No one can doubt. I mean, they say that even though, I guess research has explains it as even if someone wants to do something to hurt themselves, it's no one's fault. They've done it, but we're not talking about the average person out there. We're talking about people, young people especially, and those numbers of suicides are through the roof. We're talking about somebody who's broken and who's trying so hard to get better, and a loving, supporting family that are wonderful parents that keep tabs on their kids. So if people like the Biebers are such good parents, I mean, there are a lot of people out there who aren't as adamant about being a parent as you guys are. There's nothing you could have done. Thank God she's with God. Oh my God. But one of the things I wanted to ask you was, how do these guys stay in business? How do they stay online?
Well,
They got to make money or they wouldn't be there.
donations, advertising. I wouldn't go past beyond speculation that. I would speculate that some of the product that's being used for this, somehow they may be
I never
getting.
even thought of that.
Getting a kickback.
Yeah. These are the product. eBay, Amazon. They're buying from these items, but eBay could just be a random user. There's a lot of references of specific people that you can contact via email. Use Western Union. Pay with cryptocurrency
Bitcoin.
to buy these substances, and there is a lot of substances. This is all stuff designed around euthanasia. They do believe in a painless death. I can tell you that this is not all painless.
No.
There's horror stories. People doing this. Some of these products are volatile. They can cause explosions. These are products used in airbags and such items that if you don't handle correctly, it can be explosive. To say that this is all going to be peaceful and all your sorrows are going to be gone, the pain that these people, some of these people go through when they do this, it's.
Well, a dear friend, as I've talked, everybody knows my buddy Lucy Naza from Naza Promotions. She posted it on Facebook, and I didn't know what to do because I thought, oh my God, I have to help these people. But yet, approaching you, when this just happened, I couldn't do it. But then Lucy told me, but they want to get the word out. This is so important to them. And when you are trying to recover from such a terrible, terrible loss, that's what counselors will tell you eventually. A good way to support yourself is to advocate for that person. Luce, can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Both of you have so much courage, and so many of us can thank you for that courage, trying to take this just unbelievable tragedy and to help others and to make them aware not only of these dark, sadistic chat rooms and websites that are out there, not, also to obviously give folks hope that are suffering, resources where to go for treatment, help, intervention, and raise awareness and make it a discussion that we're all discussing it as parents and with our kids. In this, world right now, we do have such a mental health crisis on so many levels. Our systems are overtaxed, overworked. It's really tough to get help for a lot of folks, but help is out there. But this is over the line. So I had contacted some individuals that I know in the prosecution, law enforcement arena to discuss this, and they are just appalled by websites, chat rooms, and anybody that wants to assist in anybody's death. It is against the law. It's against the law in Pennsylvania. It's against the law in in this country, and therefore we're trying to help connect this family with folks that can help them out. So lawmakers have reached out. Congressman Perry's office has reached out. There's a new suicide prevention task force in Pennsylvania to harness resources, people, individuals, collaborate. And try to, really make an impact on the suicide rates. And I know that they have meetings set up with them as well. There's so many things that they're trying to do to use their power and this terrible tragedy to try to save others from this pain.
Let me ask you guys, what can we do for you? What can my listeners, what can people who hear this, who pass it on to other people, how can we support you?
I think just have discussions with friends and family and friends that have kids. Just continue to spread awareness. Just tell our story so that other people know the story. So many people are just going to say, "Hey, I didn't know that," or thank you so much for telling me that, and just keep getting the word out, really.
Getting the word out. And contact your state and House representatives and your DA's office and demand legislature to be passed. We need something. We need legislation to pass against these, to protect our children. We need something.
And there's already been stuff done in this as far as in California, with something that many people might know with Susie's Law.
And you said it was identically what had happened to your family.
Yes, it's very similar when you read the law, and what we need to do is just contact our senators and everyone and ask that we enact this and get this across the country.
This is critical. Lucy.
So the one thing I want to jump in and say as well, Sylvia, is that if you're having a crisis or your family is in crises, call your crisis intervention hotline in your area, or call 911. If you're not already set up with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist, reach out to your medical doctor, provider, and ask them for resources. But we have crisis intervention centers and hotlines throughout the state. And that's one thing. 911 is a resource as well, and you'll get immediate help. We're very blessed with all the resources out there. We have a Pennsylvania suicide prevention hotline as well, and organizations that are out there to help you and help your family. So don't ever feel there's no hope. We personally go through this, and that since our daughter had her stroke, it's been a really tough challenge. We don't give up. Days are tough, but we don't give up. And that's what all of us are here today to talk about, to do everything in our power to connect our kids, our friends, whether it's a coworker, colleague, you name it, with resources that are out there. And monitor the internet, monitor what your kids are on, and use parental controls. We're raising our grandson. He, is 7. They love to jump on and use tablets, and and also monitor screen time.
Yes, and
for the younger ones, it's really critical.
That's exactly right, and I've said this many, many times too. If you need any information about anything you hear on this program, my God, call the radio station, or my email is sylviamoss@iheartmedia.com. Please, if you have any ideas about how to support these people, please get in touch with me. Oh God, that's why we're here. People say, what is life? This is what life is. We're supposed to love and support each other. And Jackie and Chip, I said it earlier, there aren't any words, but you know what? People hearing this, Lucy, people that know and love you, you have our prayers. God's a constant, and I'm so, I don't want to say glad, but I feel fortunate that you were kind enough and could gather the strength today to come in and talk about your wonderful, wonderful Shawn. Thank you.
Thank you for everything,
Oh
for
my God.
helping
This
get
is,
this all out.
we're gonna
And,
do something about
I thank
this.
everyone for their support as well.
Absolutely. From the Messick's Performance Studios here at iHeartMedia, I'm Sylvia Moss. This has been Insight. See you next week.